So we've all made mistakes, right? We've all messed up. I'm the chief messer upper. But is there any advice that you would give so that people wouldn't make the same mistakes that you've made in your really great career?
A lot. So we talked about it a little bit. I would definitely say, please don't prejudge. It doesn't do you or them a favor. It's actually a disservice if you think they're not going to be interested in your product or your business, and so you don't share it, because we never know where people are at. I'm going to tell you a really quick story if we've got time.
Sure.
Years ago, when I was getting started, I had a referral and it was not close to my home. And I drove, and it was nighttime, and I drove up to this person's apartment, and I knocked on the door and went in, and I'm not the neatest person in the world, but I was appalled by the condition of the house. It was very messy, clothes and everything everywhere. And I walked in, and she said, oh, come on in, come on in, come on in. And she said, just a second. It was a small apartment. She was a single mom. Her dog had messed on the kitchen floor, and instead of cleaning it up, she just put paper over it because I showed up. And then I get to her kitchen table to do a presentation, and it's covered with things, and so it's got a tablecloth on it. So she takes the corner of the tablecloth and she folds it up over everything else and says, okay, is this enough space here on the corner of the table? And I thought, oh my God, I'm wasting my time. But I was there. I went through the presentation. I had her try our entry-level product line. And then we were going through the catalog, and she came to our top line in our products and said, what's this? As we're going, I said, well, that's the best. That's the top anti-aging. She said, well, I want that one. And so that was a big lesson to me years ago, never to prejudge, not even in introducing the product, not even opening my mouth, but in what I offer people, that I offer all to them. And if I know their needs and their wants, then it's my job to fill that, not try to give them something that I think that they're interested in or should be interested in. So that's a biggie.
That's a great. That's a great story.
I also learned that through starting to build my business and working with people, you're really good at seeing the potential in people, and I can do that too. And if we know people that would think, oh my gosh, this would be so good for them, and they would be so wonderful at it. I can just see them being very successful. But what I found is I can't want it more for people than they want it for themselves. So I learned that I had to give them my time for their effort. I can't do it for them. Okay. They have to do the effort. I can just give them my time and help them that way. So that's another point.
That's a great mistake a lot of people, I think, make, is they feel like they have to be successful for others instead of just creating an environment where they can succeed. I think many of the leaders that I talk to have said they've made that mistake and they've learned from that mistake, and they wish they could help.
It's really important. Yeah. I think oh gosh, there's many mistakes, but I think another one is that we don't have to be perfect, and we shouldn't try to be perfect. We can know our business, we can know our product, but bottom line, we need to be duplicatable. And if people think that they can't do what we do, then we are not succeeding in letting them know that this is a duplicatable business. And I am the kind of person that not wants to be perfect, but wants to do a good job. I want to do it. Whatever I do, I try to do well. But I learned, I was in a presentation once too, sharing, and a woman, and it was important to me to know everything that I could. And I was sharing too much because she said to me, wow, how long did it take you to learn all that? I could never do what you do. And that just hit me like a ton of bricks. I thought, okay, I am not, again, I'm doing them a disservice, and my business is not going to grow if I don't realize that we don't need to be perfect. And I make mistakes all the time. I think the older I get, the more I make, and that's okay,
It is
because
okay.
I'm human, and people know, and they know that, okay, well, if she can do it, then I can do it. And I think
Yeah,
that's what we want to be able to come across about.
right. I love that, being duplicatable and not, you don't have to be like the super expert,
No.
and just keeping it simple. And yeah, I think you're right. I remember people saying over and over, "Oh, I could never be like you," and I thought, "Oh gosh, I'm not." Take that. Don't just say, "Oh, well, you're right, because I'm really good." It's like, no, no, you don't have to be like me. You can be your
Yeah.
best you, and that is great.
Yeah, yeah. It really is. And when the longer that you're in your business and with your company, I think the harder it is to do that, because we just naturally accumulate more knowledge and tips and things. And so I periodically like to step back and say, what else can I do differently maybe when I'm talking to people, so that I don't come across as too seasoned or too perfect, that they just because I've got the longevity doesn't mean that, that they can't do it too.
That's great. I like that, because a lot of people feel like, oh no, I couldn't, because they have years of experience. You have years of experience, and yet, when we keep it simple, it makes good sense.
Yeah.